Alright, what's up crazy babes, and welcome back to the channel. As always, if you're new, go ahead, tap that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can get alerts when a new video of mine is uploaded. And if you're returning to this crazy journey known as story, welcome back to the channel. So today we're up close and personal, hence why you see my face so up close and personal with you, because we're going to talk about my TTC 2018 recap. I have been dreading making this video because of the fact of the matter that I just don't want to get so emotional about it, because I've really had a lot happen in 2018. When I look back at some of my videos as I was making sure that I was getting all of the information correct, I just realized wow, so much has changed from that video I made in January up until now. A lot of things has changed, and I'm just, some good, some bad, some just indifferent, and I'm just hoping that I don't get emotional about it. So where do we begin? I guess we begin from the beginning of the year. I had made a video back in January of 2018, and I'll link it up there as well as down in the description box below. I had made a video about how excited I was to finally have my post-birth control follow up with my OBGYN, and excitement of just how she was just like, yes, numbers are looking good, girl, you losing weight, you're on the right track. Of course, you know, doctors, they want to see you lose a little more weight, but she was very pleased with what I was doing, wanted me to continue with my diet and exercise, and she said she didn't see why we couldn't go forth and start actively TTCing and documenting and just, you know, the whole works of being on a TTC journey. So that was fun. And then we get to February. We went kind of hard with TTC, and we were making sure I was taking my temps. I was peeing on my sticks when I needed to, according to my Ovia app. I was peeing on the sticks when I needed to. I was keeping my little, what is it, OPKs, I was keeping them and writing on them, you know, everything that a true TTCer does to make sure that they are following up, keeping a close eye on track, and when ovulation occurs, I was doing all of that. And I did hit a roadblock in that month though. She did put me back on metformin. For some odd reason, my cycle was 2-3 weeks late, and at first I thought it was oh, you know, we did it. And then of course I took a pregnancy test and it came back negative, and then I was just like, what the heck is going on? And I realized the only change that I had made was taking the metformin, and the metformin must have threw my cycle off. So I stopped taking that, and as soon as I stopped taking that, I did get my cycle back, probably within a couple days of once I stopped taking it. So then we get to March. March is where a lot of things started to go left for me. I noticed, I was like, okay, you know, I've been off of birth control for a year, and we did try from September to January. We did try, nothing happened. And then from January to March, nothing else happened. I'm pretty sure it's also to be considered that outside factors may have contributed to that as well. But you know, when you are in that time, hindsight is 20/20 at this point in time. But when I was in that time, I was just like, what the heck is going on? Why aren't I getting pregnant? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. So I had called my doctor, and I had called her to schedule a fertility evaluation, because I was like, what the heck is going on with me? And so when I got there to have the appointment with her, she was just like, let's go to my office. And I'm like, we supposed to be doing some type of examination. Why are we going to your office? So she was just like, well, explain to me how you guys are baby dancing. And I explained to her, and she's just like, well, sounds to me y'all doing it wrong, and you are taking your OPKs too late. That's why you aren't catching it, and you should start taking it 2 days after 2 days after your cycle is finished, and you're supposed to baby dance every 3 days leading up to ovulation. And once you get the positive ovulation test, you do it every day, the day before, day after. It was just a lot of instructions, and to the point that she drew a diagram for me. And when I say I felt so embarrassed, because I was just like, how can you have sex wrong? Like, how can you have sex wrong? And then I felt as if I felt like I was a child again. And the reason why is because, and this is just a tangent, we spend so much time in school and in just everyday life teaching girls how to protect themselves from pregnancy and take birth control, use condoms, remain abstinence from sex. But what we don't teach our girls is what to do when you deal with infertility. That's something that goes completely against anything you were taught. You were taught to just, if you have sex in general, if you think about sex sometimes, depending on like how deep your parent was, if you think about sex, kiss a boy, hold a boy hand, you gonna pop up pregnant. I know that's how it was with my mother. And here I am, now I'm trying to pop up pregnant, and I'm being told by my doctor that I'm having sex wrong. Like, nobody told me that anything about ovulation, a fertile week. These are things that you learn about when you have to endure this journey. It's crazy. Tangent over. So then I just kind of became discouraged from that, and then in the midst of that, I got promoted up and moved to a new store, and then like that just brought on a whole new set of drama. And also, to mention before I get to the next following month, she also told me that I had to lose more weight. I was already sitting comfortably at 260. I mean, I was maintaining my weight. Yes, I wasn't losing weight, but I was maintaining my weight. And she told me I had to wait another 6 more months to see what was going to happen, and then she would do testing and see what, if like my tubes are blocked, what's going on with my hormone levels, all of that jazz. But like, her saying I had to wait 6 more months was really more frustrating, because I'm like, why do I have to wait 6 more months for you to just draw my blood? But that's besides the point. So then we get to April through June was probably one of the hardest few months of my life. So much change within those months. I had got moved to that new store. I got promoted up. At first I was so excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be an assistant manager. This is exciting. We're moving up in the world, more money, all of this stuff. And then when I got there and just seeing the reality of things, I was just like, oh, hell no, like, this is not for me. And I felt myself worrying and being concerned more. I felt myself also being a scapegoat for a lot of things, even things that I didn't even have my hands on. People were blaming me for them or using me to as an excuse. It was just like a lot that went on. And then in that midst of it, I still tried to maintain some sort of routine like how I had in my old store, and it just didn't work out. Like I said in one of my previous videos, I thank my sister for trying to hold me down and keep me sane, but like after a while I just succumbed to the pressure and the stress, and I started eating out of control, eating 2-3 donuts a day. Like, donuts for me when I was working at that job was like cigarettes. Like, as soon as I took a bite of a donut, I felt an instant calming. And I hate to compare donuts to cigarettes, but that's literally how it was. Like, my stress level and my overwhelmness was crazy. And then in the midst of all of this, Trey is dealing with things with his dad. His dad's getting sicker by the moment, and you know, of course we're there for him. So it was just like, I just basically put myself on the back burner for a lot of things. So then we get to, also in June we celebrated our 2-year wedding anniversary. Then we get to July, and July was probably, I don't even know what to say. It basically just, it defined the beginning of my depression. Like, that's when I started to really succumb to my depression. And I think it was just a combination of many things. One, I turned 25. I was dealing with a lot of things of that, being stuck into this job, not being what I really wanted it to be, and wanting to just move forward and do better with myself, because I knew I was better than what I was doing. If you see me looking out, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Also, too, because I noticed how bad my depression was, and honestly it scared me how bad my depression was, I decided that maybe to help me get out of that depressive state, maybe I would get rid of all of my baby clothes that I had stashed up. And that's exactly what I did. I had 2 pregnant girls that were working with me at the time, and I just gave them my stuff. One had a girl, one had a boy. I had a mixture of girl and boy stuff, and I just gave them my stuff. I completely gave away all of my stuff, except for maybe 2 or 3 items that Trey wanted to hold on to, and that's it. Whatever he wanted to hold on to, I let him hold on to it, but I got rid of everything. I didn't want it anymore. It was a constant reminder of, I'm 25. I don't have my shit together as far as like my life. I can't get pregnant. Like, it was just like that whole month was just me crying every day leading up to my birthday, and then crying even more after my birthday. But I want to say probably like 3 or 4 days after my birthday, like, I just had this aha moment, or moment of enlightenment. And that's when we got to August. When I got to August, I was still doing a lot of crying and stuff like that, but I started to talk to God more. And I just want to preface this by saying, if you're not a person of religion, then you might want to click off of the video at this moment in time. But if you are in a true TTC journey, you know how important having a relationship with God is. And that's what I learned in the month of August, that relationship with God was what's going to keep me sane, allow me to move forward, and overcome this depression. So that's what I started to do. So in that month of August, I was talking to God more. I was just listening to what he was saying back to me, and I noticed that I started to have the courage and the strength to come out of that depressive state. And so in that time frame, that's when I really realized that I needed to quit that job that I was in. So then we get to September. I finally say, okay, let's see if we can get a second opinion. And since I haven't had a primary care for a couple of years, I just mainly had my gynecologist, who was really kind of working with me as far as getting my testing and stuff done. I was like, it's time for me to get a regular primary care. So I did. I got a primary care. We had an appointment with her on the 15th of September, and we just talked to her. Me and Trey, we just talked to her. We just explained to her all of our concerns. She listened. She really truly listened to us. She explained to us a little more insight as to why my gynecologist was putting us on such time frames. But then she also was saying, like, but if you're expressing concerns and she already knows that you have PCOS, like, she should be a little more attentive to the fact that, like, weight loss isn't going to solve everything. And so one thing that I was very appreciative of her for doing was she actually tested my hormones, which is what I wanted for so long. I didn't really necessarily want the other testing. Like, I think she was like, you got to get HSG and all that stuff. I really just wanted my hormones to be tested to see if what's going on, so I know. So she did that for me, and when I left, I want to say like 2 or so days later, that's when my test results came back. And so based off of everything that I seen, like, my LH was good, FSH was okay. She said my estrogen was okay. My A1C at that time was 5.7, which was really good. But the only thing that I was concerned about, and I mean, I never got a call about it, but I was concerned about it, was my testosterone level. My testosterone level was 96.74, which I know is really high. Generally, they want a female's testosterone level to be 77 and below, and for my age range, 60 will be considered a normal testosterone level. So for mine to be about 36 points above that, I was just like, okay, so this may be one of the contributing factors as to what's going on. And in the midst of that conversation as well, she did say that based off of what was going on and the fact that September made it a year since I was off birth control, that she would refer me to a RE fertility clinic. So that's what she did, and the fertility clinic that I went to, I think they're nice. I ended up going to them in October, which brings me to October. I ended up going to them in October, and they did a boohoo amount of testing. They did everything. And so when they came back, they said my womb was good. I also, in the midst of this, was reading over old labs and ultrasounds that I had, and I learned that I had an anteverted uterus. I want to say what that is. The one where your uterus tilts forward and kind of sits on your bladder a little bit. I learned that I have that, but they said that my womb looks good and that shouldn't be any issue for me to conceive and carry a baby. So that was very reassuring. They also did tell me that my vitamin D was low, which I'm not surprised because I suffer from low vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency is something that is common in women with PCOS. So, I mean, all I knew I needed, I haven't been taking vitamins for a long time, like 6 months. So I knew that that was probably the reason why my vitamin D was good, was low. I just started to rebuild up my baby stash. In the midst of that, I don't know, I just had this weird conversation with God, and God just kind of just was instructing me to like go and like rebuild my kit, my baby stash, and I'll link that video up top and as well as down below. Like, God just was talking to me, and so that's what I did. And the crazy thing about it is, to this day, I still have not heard anything from God in a sense of like, go buy this. Like this month, also, too, I meant to mention, I don't know if I mentioned already, in the month of September, I lost my father-in-law like a couple days after that appointment. So that also took a toll on a lot of things that, as far as our TTC journey, because like we were not emotionally in a place to be like, let's get busy. You feel me? You feel me? So then in November, I quit my job. I finally quit my job. When I say that was the best day of my life, this is how I quit my job. I went for the interview. I took my vacation because I knew they weren't going to pay me that money for my vacation. So I took all of my vacation time that I could possibly take, and I gave my 2 weeks notice the day I came back from vacation. Right? That's how you do it in these streets. And when I say I felt so liberated, oh my gosh, I felt so liberated. And then I also started a new job. I started my new job November 12th, and that right there was a big deal for me. And here's why. Because like I said in my other video, transitioning, I'll put all of the videos will have a card at the top and down in the description bottom because they all explain more in depth. I'm just giving a summary of what happened. The reason why I stayed in my old position for so long is because I was so nervous that if I went to another job, I would not be able to have the flexibility to do what I needed to do as far as trying to conceive. I didn't know. I didn't have any of the knowledge as to how it worked when you work a Monday through Friday job. Finished the enrollment period, brings me to December this month. So I just got my insurance card probably a couple of days ago, and now I'm waiting on my flex spending card to come in the mail so that we are all set for January. And yeah, so that brings us up to now. I have a new job. My job is chill. I sit down for 8 hours a day. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel pressure. I don't feel like I'm the scapegoat. I don't feel any of those things. I feel very, very, very calm, cool, and collected, and just I'm just in a good space. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. I'm just in a really good space right now with it. And I feel more comfortable in the fact that I could potentially bring life. I have also, too, what made me so excited about it is I get paid maternity leave. I get 6 to 8 weeks of paid maternity leave. At my old job, they basically just held your position for 12 weeks. I would rather get paid that 6 to 8 weeks rather than just a job holding my position, because that ain't gonna feed me, my husband, nor my child, nor my dog. That ain't. So that brings us to what's to come in a future video, our 2019 TTC plans. And me and hubby have been hashing those plans out for the past couple of days. We've actually just talked about it further before I got on camera. But that video is coming up soon as to what we plan on doing for 2019. Are we going to the fertility clinic? Are we going to just focus on doing things holistically? What are we doing? And if you guys have any questions about our TTC journey that you would want me to answer in that video, don't forget to leave them in the comments below. So yeah, I hope I have not bored you to death. I hope this is a very in-depth summary of what happened in 2018. But if you've been following the journey this entire time, you already are familiar. This is just a refresher so that when we go into 2019, nobody is left behind and experiencing a Mr. Krabs shooketh moment. So yeah. Now that we got all of that out, don't forget to thumbs this video up. Don't forget to leave me a sweet comment. And if you have any questions as to what we're planning on doing for our 2018 TTC journey, leave those down below. Don't forget, if you want to share this video, that's up to you. Sharing is caring. And don't forget to subscribe, because that helps me out a lot and lets me know that I'm producing content that you guys want to watch. And as always, y'all know how I always end the video. Don't forget to be your own pro, because you define you. Until next time.